Alright all, and welcome back to a new video here as we continue on our day by days for the first week of the flash racing coming back here in Ireland. And unfortunately today at Leopardstown, I'll hold my hands up, was a bit of a disaster. It's a hard card to get to the bottom of, really. You had to be close to the pace. A lot of our horses got caught in behind on the rail and couldn't get runs through. I think even for a few of the handicap horses like Cape Dawn and Tennessee Wildcat, I definitely backed them again. They got no runs and actually finished quite well in the end. So it was just a frustrating day, but nothing much we could do, and hopefully we'll get a bit more luck tomorrow at Navan. Although the card is equally as tricky with equally as tricky races, but that's what's going to happen early in the season. So I'm keeping my stakes small, and I'd advise everyone to do the same if I'm being honest. So, Navan tomorrow. Again, we're recording this a bit earlier, so it's 5:30 here on Tuesday evening. So we don't have prices for all the races. The maidens haven't been priced up by the majority of bookmakers, so I'm just having to go for who I think of, and as I say, a bit like the ones yesterday, if they end up being top of the market, I'm sorry. If they end up being third or fourth favourite, happy days. But we'll see how we go. Starting off with the 1 o'clock, which is a 5.5 furlong maiden, and I'm going to stick tried and tested here with Jesse Harrington and Shane Foley with a horse called No Speak Alexander. A very precociously bred horse by Shala out of a Dandyman mare. So there's speed there in the pedigree. As I say, it's a bit tried and tested at the moment. You know, Aidan O'Brien and Shamie Heffernan are combining with Snowfall. That obviously will have a massive chance as well. But this horse should go well. Jesse's 2-year-olds have come out of the blocks pretty well the last couple of days, and Shane Foley's banged in a couple of winners. So hopefully should acquit himself well and run a good race. The 130 is the 5.5 furlongs, 45 to 65 rated handicap, and this is a bit like Tennessee Wildcat today, which is just a bit of a punt on a horse that was better, but has now come crumbling down the weights, and it's a horse called It's All a Joke for Adrian McGuinness. Colin Keane takes the ride. He was formerly trained by Ger Lyons and then went over to Archie Watson for a spell of time, and he won twice off marks of 72 and 74 for Archie Watson when being ridden by Pierre-Louis Jamin. He's now off a mark of 53 tomorrow. Colin Keane takes the ride, as I said, but his recent form has been absolutely diabolical for Adrian McGuinness. There is a reason he's tumbling in the rates, but it is a career low mark, and this is a poor enough looking race. He's 20 to 1, as I say. It's one I'm just taking a bit of a punt on, that if he was to return to any sort of form, this 5-year-old gelding, you know, he could win off a mark of 53 sometime, and perhaps tomorrow might be the day. He's a big price anyway. The 2 o'clock is the second division of this 5.5 furlong handicap. I've gone for one nearer the top of the market in BlastofMagic, who's around a 6 to 1 shot for Jared O'Leary. Shane Foley takes the ride. This horse was formerly trained by Adrian Joyce and actually placed in a couple of races up in Scotland at the end of last summer. He then went to Jared O'Leary and was third off a mark of 51 to Pillar, who's a pretty decent yardstick actually for these kind of exposed 5 furlong handicappers. And then he was 8th at Dundalk last time out, but he's only beaten 2.5 lengths when finishing 8th, and he's been dropped a pound for that effort. He's now running off a mark of 50. Again, this is low grade stuff. You are taking a chance that this horse will come right one day, and hopefully that day will be tomorrow, and 6 to 1 will prove to be not a bad price. The 230 is a 2-year-old 5 furlong maiden, and I'm taking a chance here on the proven form, and I'm going to go for the Blue Panther. I backed this horse on the first day of the season when he ran behind Poetic Flare and Lipizzaner. Poetic Flare obviously looks a good horse. Lipizzaner should have won on Monday. He kind of threw it away in front. He's a Buratino colt, again precociously bred, and Mick Mulvaney can tend to get his horses wound up, these 2-year-olds wound up early in the season. Gary Carroll takes the ride. His third on debut was a decent effort. He ran quite well for a long way, weakened out of it inside the final furlong. You'd like to hope that he'll improve for that run. I know there's a Jessica Harrington colt in there, there's an Aidan O'Brien colt in there, there's 2 or 3 Aidan O'Brien colts in there, so he's going to have to, you know, I'd assume for the Blue Panther to win, it will have to be not a brilliant maiden, but I'm hoping we might get a bit of a price about him to look at backing him each way. The 3 o'clock 5 furlong maiden for 3-year-olds. I'm taking a chance on the Fozzie Stack filly, You're So Beautiful. Chris Hayes takes the ride. This daughter, No Nay Never, has only run once before when going straight into a rated race at Dundalk and finished a short head behind Dark Vader of Joseph O'Brien, who came out and ran today. I think he finished 4th in the listed race over 7 furlongs. That was a brilliant run, actually, on debut when you're considering the 5th Panita Aurora won at Naas on Monday. She gets the fillies allowance, as does Eden Key, who I assume will be high up in the betting for O'Brien and Heffernan. But I'm taking a chance that this filly could actually be very good. If she was going to produce a performance like that first time of asking, she actually could be an exceptionally good filly, and surely a maiden is within her bounds. The 3:30 is a 1.2 furlong listed race, and I'm taking a chance here on a horse called Auxilia for Ger Lyons. Gary Carroll takes the ride. This one's a hard one to know. 2nd to 1 voice on debut. I was actually there at Leopardstown when finishing 2nd to 1 voice on debut. Then went on to win a Naas maiden before finishing 3rd in the Staffordstown behind Fancy Blue, who has a chance in the 1,000 guineas this weekend for Donegal O'Brien. I think she'll improve for the trip. Again, 1 voice is the main danger in this race, I think, to be honest. And the fact that we've finished behind her is a big problem, but I think we've improved for those 2 runs since. 1 voice hasn't been seen since that run at Leopardstown, which is in the middle of July, so I'd like to hope that we could have improved past and perhaps run a big race at 7 to 1. The 4 o'clock, the Heritage Stakes, a mile listed race. I'm backing Ancient Spirit in this race at 4 to 1. Mainly, my problem is with Mount Everest and Buckhurst, who are the 2 horses above Ancient Spirit in the market, are both in bad need of a trip. Buckhurst is probably a 1.4 horse. Mount Everest is a 1.2 horse at minimum. Ancient Spirit might have a little bit more tactical speed in a race like this. Ran a stormer on debut for Jessica Harrington, having been pretty average for Jim Bulger, over a 1.2 when finishing within a head of Mount Everest in the Trigo Stakes at the end of the season at Leopardstown. He reopposes here again. Ancient Spirit, I think a mile will be tight enough for him as well, but I think he'll be able to perhaps deal with it a bit better than the other 2 and hopefully can run a big race. And the 4:30, the mile handicap for 4-year-old plus is the concluding contest on the day, and I'm taking a chance at a price here on Golden Valour at 12 to 1 for Richard O'Brien. Donagh O'Connor takes £3 off this horse's mark of 78, so he's running off 75. Formerly trained by Charlie Appleby and Godolphin, actually, and he's kind of ended up being a bit of a cast-off. But after a few adequate enough runs at the back end of last summer, he's proven to be a very good horse to follow at Dundalk this year. He's won twice off a mark of 76 last time out when beating Shebergan by 2.5 lengths, who's a bit of a Dundalk specialist in his own right. He's down to a mile today from a 1.2. He did a lot of his winter racing over a 1.2. So the trip is a bit of a question mark, but he'll be staying at the back end of this race, and 12 to 1's not a bad each way price. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully we'll have a bit more luck tomorrow in the 8 race card at Navan than we did today at Leopardstown, but if we back even 1 winner, that will be a bit of an improvement. As always, give us what you guys think down below. Who do you think will win tomorrow in Navan's card? And as always, as I say, if you did enjoy it, do like and subscribe to the channel for more of this sort of content as we head in to Guineas weekend, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.